Yo, 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 what's good? What's good? It's just the vibe. Yeah, I didn't know mine back again with another controversial conversation. It feels so good to be back. So we just dropped the prison abolition. I know that one was a little different. That's a John Lennon Imagine kind of episode, right? But I really want you guys to take time to really imagine what the world could look like if we stopped throwing people in cages. What would that be like? How great that would be. And also definitely check out Angela Davis and all the. I know I got the light right there. My bad, y'all. But anyways, check out Angela Davis and Our Prison's Obsolete. Like, she is incredible when it comes to breaking this stuff down. Pure critical analysis. And speaking of critical analysis or critiques, that's what we doing today. We're staying on our shit talking tour, and we are going to shit on capitalism. Yes, yes, it's been way too long since I've had a chance to just tell y'all how sorry trash ass capitalism really is, and we got to have some fun with it today. You already know. So let's get into it, right? Capitalism. All right, so picture this, right? Okay, so you're on a hamster wheel, running full speed. No matter how fast you go, you never get anywhere. Sound familiar? Right. It's capitalism. A system designed to keep you running while someone else collects the check. And today, well, we're digging into why capitalism is trash and how it's messing up our lives. And, well, what can we actually do about it? So let's talk about the setup. All right. So capitalism, it sells you a dream, a nice little work hard and you'll succeed fairy tale. But here's the reality. The harder you work, the richer someone else gets. Like, you're out here busting your ass for minimum wage while your boss, who probably couldn't do your job for a day, he just sitting on Google trying to figure out how to buy the third vacation home. And I'm like, could you make it make sense? I hate it. But it's a system where the few thrive by squeezing the many. And when I say squeezing, I mean like juice out of a lemon, except they don't even give you lemonade. They give you a pay stub with an empty glass and tell you to be grateful. That's capitalism. So let's break it down because there's a few core problems. There's the exploitation. So at its core, capitalism is about turning people into profit machines. You create value, but you don't get to keep it. Your boss does. Ever wonder why Jeff Bezos is rich enough to buy a planet while Amazon workers have to piss in a bottle? Yeah, it's not a bug in the system. That's the system. Let's talk about inequality, right? Because the top 1%, oh, Bernie Sanders, they hoard more wealth than the bottom half of the world combined. Meanwhile, you're out here deciding whether to pay rent or if you can even buy groceries. Like, they tell you to pull yourself up by your bootstraps, but the boots don't even fit. And they charge you about $200 for the laces. It's crazy. It's crazy. Let's talk about the profit over the people, though. Because in capitalism, well, profits always come first. People, the planet, none of that matters. As long as the numbers go up. See, we got oil companies destroying the earth and healthcare systems letting people die because it's too expensive to keep them alive. But don't worry, because they got those record breaking stock prices. So, yay? Yeah, I don't know, I guess. Because that leads us into number 4, the consumer trap. So they sell you stuff you don't need to distract you from how miserable you actually are. See, it's a never ending cycle. Work, spend, repeat that. Work, spend, repeat that. I ain't gonna do that to y'all, but you know what I mean. And they don't want you happy. They want you too busy buying stuff to notice that the system is broken. So let's talk about the myths of capitalism, right? We got to debunk them, all right? Because they've been drilled into our heads and we have got to break free. So let's talk about freedom. Because they say capitalism is about freedom, but whose freedom? Because here's an honest question. If you can't afford to take a day off of work without risking eviction, is that freedom? I mean, let's talk about opportunity. They sell you the dream of opportunity, but most of us, we're just trying to survive. That anyone can make it if you try hard enough line. I mean, yeah, that's like saying anyone can win the lottery. Sure, technically it's true, but let's be real. It ain't happening for most folks. And that's why propaganda is a tool. So here's the kicker. Capitalism survives because it controls the narratives. From movies to news, even your ninth grade econ class. They feed us propaganda to keep us compliant. Rugged individualism, free markets, job creators, they're all buzzwords to distract from the fact that the game is rigged. They don't want you questioning it. They want you fighting over the crumbs while they eat the whole goddamn loaf. And I got to bring it. I got to. Because as always, when it comes to us talking about issues in America, they always stem from that one R word, racism. And let's talk about the historical roots in slavery, right? Let's be clear. Modern capitalism did not just pop up out of nowhere, right? Its roots are soaked in the blood of slavery. The transatlantic slave trade wasn't just a moral failure, it was a massive economic engine. Black bodies were commodified, traded, and exploited to build the wealth of nations and corporations. Plantation economics laid the groundwork for the exploitative systems we live under today. From wage labor to the prison industrial complex, like that callback, the legacy of slavery is alive and well in capitalism. I want to talk to you guys, though, about a concept that I believe that we can reach. And I hope it's something that you guys are familiar with. If not, we're going to talk a little bit about it real quick. And it's called class consciousness. And it can be the first step to change, right? So here's the thing. Change doesn't happen until the people wake up. And not just to their conditions, but to the systems that have created them. So class consciousness isn't some abstract, unreachable idea. It's attainable. But before we can even talk about building it, we've got to get real. The class must first become conscious. And that means breaking free from the lies of white supremacy and the belief in whiteness as a measure of value. White supremacy doesn't just create inferiority for Black and brown people. It actually reinforces a false sense of superiority for white people, even those who are just as oppressed by the system. As Dr. Frances Cress Welsing so brilliantly pointed out, this belief in whiteness creates division and blinds us to the collective struggle. The system relies on this disconnect to keep us fighting each other instead of the true source of our oppression. Now I'm going to talk about a word that I know you guys are tired of hearing because it's been beat down and it ended up turning into one of those buzzwords that lost what it actually meant. But if you guys are ready to reach class consciousness where we're not fighting over and bickering over the small things and we come together as the working class to fight these motherfucking corporate overlords, then there's something you need to understand. And it is called intersectionality. I know. You're like, oh, here we go. Listen. We have to talk about understanding the whole struggle. So let's take it a step further. See, if we're serious about class consciousness, we have to understand intersectionality. And this isn't just some academic buzzword. It's the reality that the struggles of people whose identities intersect, such as Black women or queer people or disabled folks, are compounded. They don't just face one form of oppression, they face multiple all at once. Meanwhile, those with more privilege, even within the working class, don't have to endure those same struggles. And this creates a disconnect. It's not enough to say we're all in this together if we don't acknowledge that the weight isn't evenly distributed. So understanding intersectionality is the bridge to real solidarity. If we ignore it, we'll never build the trust needed to move forward. And that's because they have been beating us down with the divide and conquer tactic. You know it, and it is the oldest trick in the book. They want us divided. Black versus white, man versus woman, cis versus trans, worker versus worker, poor versus more poor. And it sucks. But it's all by design. See, class consciousness is the key to unlocking solidarity. But that can't happen if we don't first recognize how we've been pitted against each other. This isn't about individual failure. It's about a systemic design meant to keep us apart and fighting for scraps while they feast, right? I tried to do the hand things. If you're watching the video, like I tried to put like food in my mouth. Imagine, yeah, fictitiously, whatever. Anyways, so as I said, there is a way that we can do this, right? It can happen. We can move forward together. Because class consciousness isn't just about understanding oppression, it is about action. Remember the last one we were talking about getting to action? That's right. We get to action over here, y'all. Anyways, it's about realizing our collective power, our ability to organize, strike, and demand better. But before we can act together, we have to unlearn the narratives that keep us apart. That means rejecting white supremacy, understanding intersectionality, and recognizing that liberation isn't just about lifting yourself up, it's about lifting us all up. They fear our unity more than anything else. And the question is, are we ready to do the work to make that happen? Because if so, we can talk about a better way. Like, what is the alternative? I mean, I'm not here to say let's burn this bitch down, unless you are ready. And if so, hit my DM. Nah, all right, we ain't there yet. We ain't there yet. We ain't there yet, dog. But the revolution, it will be televised, right? Yeah. Shouts out to Kendrick, man. That man dropped that shit, man. Y'all go check that out. Beautiful, beautiful. I ain't seen something that black on the NFL field since I guess Doug Williams won the Super Bowl as a quarterback. Like, I don't know, bro. I don't have a punchline for that. It was beautifully powerful. Yeah, I gotta go check it out. Then go look at the symbolism. I'm not gonna do a deep dive. There's already enough think pieces out there. But anyways, let's talk about a better way forward, right? So support worker-owned businesses. Every dollar you spend is a vote. So you have to spend it on people who care about their workers, not CEOs who think that unions are the devil. You got to push for policy change. So that means we need laws that actually protect people, universal health care, a living wage, and environmental regulations that don't let corporations treat the planet like a landfill. And then educate and organize. Get involved in your community. Start a union. Join a mutual aid network because real power isn't in the hands of the rich. It's in the hands of the people. And if we choose, we can use it. So look, capitalism isn't some unchangeable law of the universe. It's a system that benefits a few at the expense of the rest. But systems can change. And the question is, are we ready to do the work? So I need you to drop your thoughts in the comments so that we can talk about solutions. Because honestly, we're at that point that we have to start moving forward and start thinking about getting out of this capitalistic system. If you are willing and ready and able to put your hands in the dirt and build something, then CRN has something for you. Here at the Community Resource Network, we have created the Community Mobilization Course, the Community Mobilization Toolkit, and a civics course for civic engagement, understanding, and education. I have to teach in a way that makes this palatable for us because I know we are tired. And when you're tired, it is harder to consume information. So I'm breaking it down as easy as possible for us because I do believe that we have a chance. I know everything is going on right now. I know from Doge to Trump to the Republicans being some bitch ass motherfuckers, from all of that. I know it sucks. Trust me, because I just went through it. I just went through a mental breakdown, but I'm telling you guys right now, I believe that if we come together, if we organize, if we mobilize, if we get educated, we take back the power. And as them boys said, it's power to the people.